Now, how would you expect a guy to address a group of people that has been responsible for taking away from him everything that mattered to him in an earthly, mortal context? Well, look what he says in verse 4. Wherefore, I write a few more things contrary to that which I had supposed, for I had supposed not to have written any more. He reminds us again. But I write a few more things that perhaps they may be of worth unto my brethren, the Lamanites, in some future day, according to the will of the Lord. Looks to me like the embodiment of part of the baptismal covenant to do good to those who despitefully use you and persecute you. It's a very Christian thing to be able to turn the other cheek and to not return reviling and anger when somebody's persecuting you. Notice how he then closes the intent for why he's writing this. I'm writing this so that it can hopefully benefit my brethren, the Lamanites, in a future day, and in the process it's benefiting everybody else, whether you're a descendant of Lehi or not. He then opens with all these different elements. So in chapter 2, he talks about the laying on of hands for the gift of the Holy Ghost. And he describes how there's this need to lay on hands in order to give this ability to somebody to then fully seek the gift of the Holy Ghost.
I don't mean to be sacrilegious here, but why put hands on somebody? Why not breathe on them? Why not use your elbow, maybe your feet? I mean, God tells us to walk in his paths. Feet are pretty powerful. So why the hands? Well, it turns out hands have always been a symbol of power and agency. And there are some words, actually, let me share a couple of thoughts about this. If we look at ancient languages, particularly if we look at, say, Latin and Greek, and the use of the word hand, the word hand there means things like protection, guardianship, a protector or a guardian. It's very interesting. I think that it's one of the things that the priesthood provides for us is guardianship and protection, and invites all of us to do the same for others. But look at some words that actually show up in our language. The ancient word for hand in European languages is usually like man or mono, like in Spanish or Portuguese, you have the word mono. But I want you to look for some words that show up in Moroni's text that are actually related to the word hand, about power and protection. So here's the words: command, commandment, mandate, commend, demand, maintain, manage, maneuver, manifest, a manual, a manuscript, or even recommend. These all are based on the ancient word for hand, and they're all about power and protection and the ability to get stuff done. So God could have had many ways in which he shared his priesthood power with others. He chose to use the hand because, in part, it has this really powerful symbolism of protection and guardianship and empowerment to do the work of God.
It's a beautiful concept to picture how we use our hands if they're constantly in the labor of blessing and lifting and comforting and healing people versus the opposite of abusing or controlling or forcing or hurting. There's great power, like Taylor's talking, this power to act and how we interact with other people is beautifully and symbolically encapsulated with these hands and how we use them.